Hi students, I'm going to demonstrate the pedicure procedure for you today. We will be doing this in school, a lot more detail, but I just kind of want to get you thinking about it. It's something that we're going to teach this year, and obviously we can't have you practice, but you can still see the procedure for it. You might want to have your pedicure procedure packets out or up on your computer so that you can follow along with this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is, I have this tub here. Disinfect everything inside and out before you fill it with water. When you do fill it, you want to use a foot soak, which basically is a soap for the feet. It can either be in a salt form or it can be in a liquid form. Put that in first and then fill it with the water. Next thing you want to do is sanitize your hands and the client's feet, and typically we would use a spray for this. I don't have a spray, so I'm just going to use some sanitizer on the feet. So before you really even do anything with the feet, you want to make sure they're sanitized. And feet typically are cleaner than hands, just because when you think about everything that your hands touch throughout the day, your feet just pretty much stay in your shoes. They might get a little smelly that way, but as far as like touching things, you're not gonna get as much bacteria on your feet. I'm sorry, my dog just sneezed. Okay, so then the next thing would be removing polish. My dog's obnoxious, I'm very sorry. And you can actually soak the feet first before you remove the polish if you want to, if you're not comfortable touching the feet before they've been soaked. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the polish and let it soak for a couple seconds if it's stubborn, or if it's been on for a long time. Sometimes the recommended frequency of a pedicure is once a month, so sometimes people will go an entire month without removing their polish. So it might be a little bit harder to get off. Megan here likes to paint her toes all the time, so it comes off pretty easy. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and have you put your feet in the water. You would then have them soak their feet for about 5 minutes, and while that's happening, you can gather up supplies, you can do some cleanup, that sort of thing. I'm not going to have her soak for a full 5 minutes because I don't want to waste your time. You want to have lots of towels available so that when she does take her foot out of the water, you've got a towel available for that. So I'm just going to do one foot at a time. So I'm just going to kind of ease her foot out, one of her feet, and dry it off. Sometimes too, you might find you have a tub that you can't have them put their foot on the tub itself, so their feet will actually be in your lap. So you'll have lots of towels piled up on your lap. Okay, so then it's time to cut. You want to cut the toenails first and then file them. She really doesn't have much to cut. You want to cut straight across, because if you cut too much into the corners, you can cause ingrowns. She really doesn't have much more. She's making my job easy. After you cut, you can file. And again, you kind of want to go in the one direction, corner to center. Toenails aren't as fragile as fingernails, so if you do a little bit of seesawing, it's not as big of a deal with toes as it is with fingernails. And she really doesn't have much on her other toes. Okay, then the next thing you want to do is apply cuticle remover, just like we do with a manicure. A lot of these steps are very similar to a manicure. Try not to touch attach the bottle to the feet. I'm just going to kind of rub this in a little bit. Some pedicure procedures will have you do this before you soak, and that is fine too. There are so many different ways you can do this. Now, a big difference with manicure and a pedicure are how you treat the cuticles. On feet, they're a lot more sensitive, so you typically don't want to use too much pressure. You don't want to cut unless absolutely necessary, and I don't want to push with a metal file. You can cause what are with a metal pusher. You can cause what are called microtraumas, which are tiny unseen cuts, and then they can get infection, especially if it's an older client. So I'm going to use a cotton-tipped wooden pusher to push the cuticles instead. So I'm going to push your cuticles. You're going to want to repeat all this on the other foot, but I'll do this after we're done with the video and finish up her other foot. Okay, whenever you're done, you take that cotton off. I just use a towel to help me get it off and replace it. Okay, you also, just like with a manicure, you want to clean under that free edge, if there is any. So I'm going to dip my Q-tip in the water. She doesn't really have much of a free edge, but I'm just going to try to do the best I can. So I'm going to try to get a little bit of that excess cuticle remover off. And then you would cut only if necessary. I don't even have any cuticle trimmers with me right now, but if you did cut, remember you're going to hold it right up against the skin and go around. I have one video where I don't really like the way she's lifting up on it. That's something you want to avoid because it can cause people to get hangnails. Okay, so I'm just wiping off some of the excess. Looking at the procedure because, oh, no, that's too far. Right there. Okay, at this point you would apply a softening product to any calloused areas. Those are just areas that have like a lot of hardened skin. She really doesn't have that, just a little bit. I don't have a softening product, but it's just called Soften, and you would just kind of apply it. Usually the callus areas would be like on the outside of the toes, right in this area, and a big place is the heel area. So you'd apply it to those areas. Okay. And then after you do that, you would get a warm towel to steam the foot. I'm just going to use a regular towel, but you would take this foot and you just wrap it in the warm towel and let it sit like that. And then you'd move on to the other foot. So you can go ahead and take your other foot out, just so it doesn't soak for a long time. All the same things, the trimming, the cuticle remover, the pushing, cleaning under the free edge, using the nippers only if necessary, and then applying the softening product. Okay, so you would then wrap this foot too. Go ahead and do that. I'll get back to your foot later, Megan, so that you have even feet. Just don't want to waste time right now. Okay, so then you would unwrap the foot that you started with, and then you'd use a foot file. And I don't have a really good foot file here. Typically they're bigger than this, but you would use this on calloused areas. So you're just going to go in a back and forth motion, using a little bit of pressure so it doesn't tickle, which it does tickle, I can see by her face right now, but that's okay. And you just want to slightly remove some of the calluses. You don't want to take calluses off completely, because if you do, those calluses are there for a reason. They protect the feet. And if you remove all of them, then there's no protection for your feet, and you'll start to have really sore feet. and it takes years to build up calluses, so you never want to take them completely off. But you do want to make the feet feel softer, and you don't want to be able to feel a spot that feels really rough. She doesn't have much in the way of calluses, but some people, especially older people, they have a lot. So if they do have a lot, you might want to schedule a series of treatments where they come in every week or every couple weeks so that you can work on their calluses, getting them down without taking them off completely. Okay, so once you do that, you can apply what is called a scrub. This is going to remove any dry skin. The product I have is, I've had it for a while, so it's a little thick. You just want to get some in your hands, rub it in your hands a little bit, and then you can feel little crystals that actually are removing the dry skin from the feet. And apparently that really tickles too. And that just helps remove any extra dry skin. My dog is watching intently. Okay, so just rub all over the foot, and then you can gently put that foot back into the water. And then you repeat that while that foot's soaking. You repeat it all on the other foot. Okay, now we are going to ease your foot out of the water again after it's been soaking for a little bit, because you do all the same things on the other foot. And dry it. And then it's time for the massage. Okay, so I'm going to use some lotion. Always emulsify it, get it warm. And I'm going to apply it on her foot and up her leg. You always want to support the client's leg when you're doing this. Don't just, let it lay in limbo where they have to hold it themselves, or don't just let it sit. You always want to support it. Okay, and massage can be done different ways. You have a technique on your procedure that I gave you. Typically, just kind of rub it in good, use firm movement so it's not too ticklish, although apparently it is. Plus we have a dog watching us. Okay, so basically you just want to start by kneading up the leg. You can start on the foot first if you want, it's up to you, but you want to make sure you get the leg and the foot. I don't do a lot on top of the leg because that's the shin bone, and if you feel right there, it's all bone. There's really not a whole lot of muscle, so it's not real comfortable to massage it. So this is just a effleurage movement. Move that down a little bit. Actually, you can move it down all the way. Okay, now I'm going to go on top a little bit in the circular movement. On top of the foot. I'm going to hold the heel, and I'm going to massage the bottom of the foot with my thumb. And then I'll take both thumbs over. I'm still supporting her foot, so that's not uncomfortable. Take thumbs over the top of the foot, around the ankle area. And then I'm going to grasp each toe. Kind of like when you do with the manicure, you're just going to massage down each toe and squeeze at the end. Got a dog hair on your foot. And I'm going to take both my hands back and forth for a relaxing movement. And you want a massage to take a few minutes. You don't want to rush through it. I kind of did this fast, but you want to make it slow, rhythmic, don't break contact. Massage every part of the foot, every part of the leg, and just make it really feel good for your client. Okay, at this point, I'm not going to put her feet back in the water. I don't want to rub off the lotion or to rinse off the lotion. But if it feels like her foot soaked all the cream in, it feels like there's a lot of excess cream, you can get a warm towel again, remove the excess. You can use astringent on a cotton pad, remove the excess. The biggest thing though that I want to do is remove any excess from her toenails so that her polish will stick. So if you don't do that, the polish won't stay on. So I'm just going to take the cotton round with some polish remover and swipe it on each toe. Of course, after you get this foot done, you would do the other one, and then you would do this procedure on both feet at the same time. And at that point, you can apply your base coat, 2 coats of polish, and your top coat. First though, you want to make sure her toes are pretty separated, but some people's toes, you might have one toe sitting on top of another, so you want to use toe separators. At school, we have a little bit better toe separators. They're actually, looks like a big piece of cotton that you just weave in between the toes. But you can use these as well to separate. So then you've got an easier way to polish. We also have flip-flops, disposable flip-flops that you put on your client, and that way if they need to leave and don't have time to wait for their polish to dry, they can leave with the flip-flops on and just take their shoes with them. And that, after you get finished polishing, is your pedicure procedure. While your client's sitting with the polish, and you can also do, actually this is a better time, you can also do, after the massage, a pack or a mask, put it on their foot, both their feet, wrap it up, and let that sit for 5-10 minutes. While that's happening, you could actually drain your water and disinfect for the next client while they're sitting. That way they see that you're disinfecting really well, so it's a good thing to do. So then after they're polished, then they're ready to just sit and dry, and that completes the pedicure.